What's up guys, Sean here, and as promised I am going to show you guys a close-up of this new Deka Scorpion exclusive from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, up close and personal. Sorry I did not get a chance to do that for you guys yesterday. Like I said in the video, I was in a hurry, but it is Wednesday, and in honor of Warncliffe Wednesday, you know I gotta rock this bad boy right here. Cutlery Shop exclusive Paramilitary 2 with the Warncliffe blade and CTS XHP blade steel with Cutlery Shop's signature orange scales. These things really pop. Probably the only factory G10 scales that I absolutely love. Actually there's one other pair, the DLT trading exclusive with the army green or the olive green, whatever. That one with the black, I like that a lot because I'm a fan of camo. But yeah, this is, look at this, look at that edge. Woo! And then right here, this one's outfitted with the blacksmith Lynch clip. So he has offered the Lynch Northwest titanium deep carry clip Casey Lynch. He has offered these in a black Cerakote finish for a while. They are oftentimes out of stock because they're popular. They sell out really quickly. Black looks good, and it takes more time to do the Cerakote finished clips. He just recently started offering the blacksmith option, which this is actually heat blackened or heat darkened, however you want to say it. And I really like this. Looks really good. And matter of fact, I have a black Cerakoted clip from Lynch on my GAYLE Bradley 2. Very slight difference, but I mean, I'm very happy with it. So yeah, that's cool. And so what are we doing today in this video? This video, I am going over these four knives right here. The Cjrb Maileah, or Maileah, however it is pronounced. I have the regular size and then the large, or is this the regular size and the small? I don't know, not super familiar. I believe this is the large and this is the standard. Very interesting knife. I'm gonna go into my thoughts and opinions on that. I'm not doing my standard 20 categories for these because that would take a really long time, but also going to be going over these bad boys. I have a large Honeybadger and a small Honeybadger here. So really cool stuff. We have the Warncliffe blade Honeybadger, and then this is the drop point blade. Then on these guys we have a bit of a sheep's foot cleaver kind of blade shape. And of course, obviously the Paramilitary 2 is a leaf-shaped blade. I have this one out just because I want to compare this marble carbon fiber with the Deka, because this is the Arctic Storm fat carbon scales that came on the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Arctic Storm exclusive Paramilitary 2. That was a mouthful. And these things are absolutely mesmerizing. Really love them. Probably my favorite scales. And then after messing around with Denise's Deka, which I sharpened, put a very nice, very slicey edge on this bad boy. Fell in love with this. I was talking to her about different trade proposals, and I really only had one knife in mind. My collection is pretty much slimmed down to knives that I wouldn't want to get rid of because of, you know, sentimental value, or, you know, they're my personal favorites, whatever the case may be, or they were gifted to the channel, stuff like that. Knives that I don't feel comfortable letting go of. So yeah, that we weren't able to well, I wasn't able to come up with any proposals that were any good for her. So anyways, she knew that I liked the Wharncliffe Hogue Deka, and the other day she sent me a link to this bad boy, and I was unaware that Smoky Mountain Knife Works had an exclusive coming out with black and gold marbled carbon fiber, and this one is like a scorpion theme. If any of you are familiar with Mortal Kombat, I'm not really a big video game person, but that's where the theme, the name of the theme comes from. And we're just gonna take a couple minutes and admire this beauty close up, since several of you, I guess, don't listen to what I say in the videos and hounded me about how the camera was a mile away yesterday, when I, you know, stated in the video I was just doing it real quick, had to get back to work. I would show close up tomorrow or later, but hey, it is what it is. So as you can see there, CPM Magnacut. It's an Elschwitz design, Alan Elschwitz. Black barrel spacers, black hardware. The partial liner is not blacked out, but the able lock is, which is essentially very similar to the axis lock, pretty much the same thing, but the pattern they have going around it, the milling, is different. I'll show you a bug out. You see how it's just the round circular milling. On this, it has like a triad kind of deal. Really cool looking. I do enjoy that pattern for the lock and for the thumb studs. You can see here's a Benchmade bug out with Applied Weapons Tech scales. Alright, sorry about that. I was having trouble getting a good close-up, but you should be able to see pretty clearly here. Very cool looking. This does come from the factory with a deep carry pocket clip. I really like that. This does not have major issues with voids like I heard the previous one did. However, I did find a void since the video yesterday. So where is that? So on one of these sides in the front, I found out when I was wiping it with a microfiber, and the microfiber kept on getting caught. I believe it is, yeah, it's right there. Okay. See that microfiber caught right there? That little orange string. So all a void is like basically an air pocket in the epoxy or the resin when they are making the carbon fiber, therefore leaving you with a hole on the outside. So depending on the size of it, you can either sand it down and smooth it out, or you could leave it be, which is just kind of annoying because stuff gets caught on it. It's like a sharp corner. But yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Here is a little piece of carbon fiber that came off of it when I was trying to get a piece of the lint or whatever from the microfiber caught. You can see the gold. Alright, so it was a little bit hard to show that. Fighting with my lighting situation right now, trying to get the lighting figured out. Looks good on some stuff, but it was just very difficult to show that small little part. But that's just kind of a testament to how small of an issue it is. Definitely not a major problem. I mean, obviously I would prefer that it, you know, there wasn't any voids, but out of the entire scale, that is the only spot with an issue. And as you can see, it still has a little bit of the orange fiber in there that I could not pluck out. I was really trying to get it caught in there so you guys could see it. So it did what I wanted it to do. And I'll probably end up just sanding that down with some very, very fine sandpaper, very carefully by hand. No power tools. And definitely going to be putting an edge on this. I best tested it straight out of the box. I only did one test, so I can't say if this applies to the entire edge, but the test that I did tested 246 grams. It could have been somewhere along the middle. I don't know. But the edge does not, well, it doesn't feel sharp, but it doesn't feel dull. The front half will shave, the back half will not, so I guess that's pretty dull. That was a little bit of a disappointment because I've heard so many great things about Hogue knives and how they have a reputation for having really good factory edges and coming super sharp out of the box. And unfortunately, that was not my experience. This did not have a screaming sharp edge out of the box, but thankfully I am a, fairly skilled sharpener, and I should not have any issue putting a ridiculous, really sharp, really nice edge on this that should last for a really long time. One last thing I will mention, I was very impressed with Hogue's Magnacut when I sharpened Denise's Deka. Hers is also a Magnacut, as you can see. And this sharpened up very well, was easy to work with, took a very sharp edge, and I could tell that this was heat treated well and a very hard steel because it would not allow me to build up a very big burr. It was, you know, the burr was constantly coming off very easily. You could tell that the steel was very hard by, you know, the resistance that it put up when reprofiling. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to see if you're looking for high edge retention. It should have, you know, moderate toughness, but toughness isn't really the main thing that I'm looking for in a folder like this. I'm not going to be beating the crap out of a knife like this. You know, if you have a lot of money and this is like a, you know, a budget knife to you and you want to beat the hell out of it, you know, it can probably take a good bit of abuse. However, that's not the case for me. I consider this to be a nicer knife, and I will 100% use it. You know, I'll use it a lot. I will do a ton of, you know, regular, everyday, common cutting tasks like processing cardboard, opening packages. You know, if I have to do any fine detailed cuts, just anything. So, you know, from processing cardboard to cut an apple, cut up, you know, a little bit of food or something on the go, whatever the case is, you know, this is the kind of knife that I want a lot of edge retention. I want this to keep that really fine, sticky sharp edge for a long time, as I use it for, you know, kind of light to medium tasks. I'm not going to be cutting bricks with it, or, you know, cutting tile or fucking, I don't know. You guys know what I mean. I'm not going to be, you know, ramming it into the sidewalk, you know, cutting through stuff, or just, you know, running through staples. It's just not, I don't have any need to do that. So I know some people's jobs require stuff like that, and, you know, in that case, I would not use one of these knives personally. If you do, hey, more power to you. Not, you know, not advocating against it or for it, but, you know, just don't be surprised if you do tear up your blade or break your blade or get huge gouges out of it, even with it being Magnacut, because this is a thin blade grind. It's designed for light to medium duty EDC use. It's supposed to be a light knife that's easy to carry in any type of clothing, and, you know, get the job done for you. So you take care of your tools and they will take care of you. Use the correct tool for the job. There are knives out there for those insanely tough tasks, but this just isn't that. So that's enough of that. Put that away. And now let's get to these. And yeah, that extra long-winded intro with all the additional stuff was specially for a you know, that was dedicated to a very special subscriber who felt the need to whine and complain about me talking too much, apparently. So, you know, I encouraged him, hey, you know, you should make a YouTube channel and make videos to a higher standard, you know? Sounds like he really has a good game plan together. So, you know, I'll be expecting to see his channel come up soon, and he can make high-end production films of knives with minimal talking, and it's just going to be epic. He'll probably get nominated for a Grammy. And he should probably go back to English class, because he tried to school me on the word precautious, saying precautious is not a word. Well, buddy boy, it actually is. So you're just a troll. And I shouldn't have even given him the time then. I shouldn't give him the time now, but you know, hey buddy, that's for you. So anyways, moving onward on this lovely Wharncliffe Wednesday. First up, we're going to talk about this big boy right here. This is the Honeybadger, the large Honeybadger with the Wharncliffe blade. Check out the action on this. Well, first let's see the centering. Okay, very good. Have a deep carry pocket clip, very deep carry. Looks like a polymer backspacer. It's geared. And then we have the polymer scales with the honeycomb pattern. They feel pretty good. Have nice little grippy traction around the thumb hole area. It's chamfered. I like that. It allows you, it just kind of directs your thumb right into that right spot, and then boom. Very good detent. Very smooth. Just blade just flies out. Excellent lock bar access. Can get my big thumb right in there very easy. And let her drop down. Has a pretty early detent or secondary detent. Drops fairly well. Let's check out the flipper. Flipper works absolutely amazing. I can get a full grip on this with about a 1/2 inch of handle to spare. You also have this little, I wouldn't call it a full forward choil, but maybe a 3/4 choil, a little bit bigger than a half. But if I really, squeeze my finger into there, I would probably get the meat of my finger into the corner of this edge right there and cut it. So, if you kind of pull back on, oh, did I just cut it? No. Kind of pull back on it like that, and then push your thumb forward into this little thumb ramp right here with this nice jimping. Then you could possibly get some detailed cuts. Honestly, I don't really recommend using your finger right there. Not sure that it's really meant for your finger. I mean, maybe if you have smaller hands, smaller fingers, then it should be fine. But your finger is going to be much safer back here. And then the flipper comes down just past, your finger there, and acts kind of as a little bit of a guard. So that's nice. Very functional design. The jimping is not too aggressive. I mean, it continues onto the polymer, comes back a little bit. Not too aggressive at all. Does offer a little bit of grip. Very good ergonomics, good placement for this thumb ramp. I like the feel of the honeycomb pattern on these scales. A nice tight grip, really squeezing on it. Don't feel any hot spots whatsoever. Feels really good in hand. Have a nice, good sized blade. It is over 3 inches of cutting edge. And matter of fact, this is called the Wharncliffe Honeybadger, but I see a curve to this edge, and well, to be fair, this one kind of does also, but it's not really a curve. It's a slight change, just due to being a compound grind. But typically a Wharncliffe has a straight edge, and then the spine tapers down towards the point, just like this guy. What we have here kind of more similarly resembles that sheep's foot cleaver kind of style blade shape. So I'll give you an example of that. Digging through my knife case over here. See how it has that slight curve? Now we don't have all that extra along the spine or the top half. It's not quite as tall of a grind, but if you look at the cutting edge of each, it's very similar. This has a slighter curve to it. But anyways, oh, here, let's see this one. See, very slight curve. This is the Kaiser K. This also has that cleaver, sheep's foot kind of looking blade. If you compare that cutting edge to that one, also very similar. This one actually curves up a little bit more here at the tip, which more resembles a sheep's foot, in my opinion. You know, or this blade shape could also be called a reverse tanto. So in all honesty, this is more of a hybrid blade shape right here, but it's like a Warren cleaver per se, but it's marketed as their Wharncliffe. So hey, nothing wrong with that. Just figured I would point out some just point out what I'm noticing here. Blade steel is HCR 13 MOV. It's a budget steel, not anything to rave about. One of the good things about it, it sharpens extremely easily. It strops back very easily, so it is very easy to maintain, especially for those of you who are just starting to get into sharpening and just learning how to sharpen, or if you're just learning how to strop your knives. HCR 13 MOV might be a good steel for you to practice on at first while you're getting down that muscle memory, trying to learn the angles and everything, because this is a very responsive steel. It's very responsive to stones and strops, so you'll be able to very quickly notice, or you'll be able to tell very quickly whether you are getting it sharper or not, because of how responsive it is, how easy it is to sharpen. So it's one of those things, there's been a debate before, is it better to have a super hard high-end super steel like MAXAMET, where it's going to keep that edge for a insanely long time, but it also takes a lot more time to sharpen it? Or do you want a budget steel like this that you can get insanely sharp very quickly, but it also loses the edge very quickly. Some people might like sharpening their knife every day. I personally don't mind stropping my knife every day if I do, you know, a decent amount of cutting to where I find it necessary or beneficial. But for the most part, I prefer steels like CTS XHP or CPM S90V, where they are going to hold that edge for a really long time. They also have good toughness, and they're not difficult for me to sharpen because I've had a lot of practice, you could say. So it's not something to be intimidating. These super steels are not impossible to sharpen by any means. Sometimes they actually sharpen up easier than the budget steels do. If a budget steel knife is not heat treated and it's super soft, you may never be able to deburr it, and the edge might kind of just mush back and forth and never really be able to get a super fine apex to where it's going to actually be very sharp, and it's certainly not going to keep it very sharp for long. But with the harder steels, it's actually a lot more pleasant for me to work with personally. And as long as you are using the right stones, so for super steels, you definitely want to be using diamonds. It makes all the difference in the world. Yes, it's possible to do it with aluminum oxide stones. I've done it before. That's where I started off after I first started learning on aluminum oxide bench stone freehand. Then I moved to the Lansky system with the aluminum oxide stones, and I used that system for a really long time. I was even still using that after I had started my channel. It was, maybe close to, 6 months to a year into my channel that I got the KME, and wow, that made a difference in just what I could do a lot quicker with some of these steels. Now I learned how to make the Lansky work for me even with the aluminum oxide stones, and I could get beautiful mirror edges on super steels, but it would take insanely long, and it's just not practical, especially if you're not willing to be persistent and really dedicated and not give up easily. I would not suggest going that route. Something like the KME is probably going to be the best quality system that you're going to find for the money, hands down. That's still the system that I use professionally, and the diamond stones that it comes with are absolutely 100% good enough to achieve pretty much anything you want. And then if you want to get a really nice mirror edge, you might have to get a few other stones or some gunny juice, but you'll be able to sharpen any steel for sure. But alright, so just went off on another really long tangent. I've just, guys, I'm just feeling talkative today. So here is this guy. Let's see how the closing action is. Wow, that was a long tangent. That's how my brain works, guys. Honestly, I can't help it. My brain just, hops around like that, especially when I'm speaking about something, because it's just so many different thoughts all at the same time. So these are on bearings. Very drop shut. Oh yeah. And it's very satisfying action too. Very snappy. Look, no wrist whatsoever, and it has some good little kick to it. Some good kick to it. Alright, moving on. Let's move this baby out of the way. Yeah, check out this clip. Fluted milled titanium clip. That is sexy. Oh baby, look at these two together. Look at me going off on another tangent. You guys said you wanted close-ups though. Don't complain now. Want close-ups? Here we go. Absolutely freaking beautiful. God, that is beautiful. Hopefully this lighting is a little bit better to capture that pattern and the effects of it glistening in the light. I mean, it's been said by very many people that the camera will just never do this marbled carbon fiber any justice. You have to see it in person to truly capture the beauty of it. But here is my best attempt at trying to convey it to you guys as, you know, as close to it gets to seeing it in person. One of my edges. This one scored 39 grams on the best tester. How's that for close-ups? I think this lighting might be a little bit better. One last thing I'll say about the Deka. Well, I won't say last because it might not be the last. I don't know. But the factory edge. Not only was it not sharp, look at that. Look at that edge bevel. Talk about an uneven bevel. Look at the tip. Look how narrow it gets right there before the compound grind. And then it's like pretty even back here, but then it's skinny and huge. Come over to this side, and it's pretty even. You want to see a professional edge. It's all the exact same angle. So that's just a little idea of the edge that mine's going to be getting. And one thing I'll say about this version, this is the version that really made me fall in love with the Deka. So one thing I'll say about this version, this is actually the version that made me fall in love with the Deka. And the action is much better on the standard polymer version. Not sure about the G10 version. So to be clear, this is the polymer, like FRN plastic, not G10. It sounds really good. It has that snappy sound that you get with polymer. Really satisfying pop to it. The spring seems to be stronger than the spring in this one. Very snappy. Very smooth. This one's also perfectly centered. And these are only like $127. This right here was $199.99. You have a weaker spring. The acoustics are not as satisfying. You don't get that nice pop that, oh yeah, that's so nice. This, you just don't get it. Not really a huge deal, but I do have to admit the pop the pop sound this makes is very satisfying to my ears. You know, everybody's different, but this one's very satisfying just due to the sound. The lock stick has mostly, almost completely gone away. What I did was I took some Gunny glide. Oh, that slides. Oh, gee, here's the glide. Alright, so here's what I did. Take the needle tip. I just put a little drop, and I'm aiming for the washer, okay? I'm not trying to get a bunch on the back of the blade here. Just trying to get it down the sides a little bit. Okay. Then I put a little bit around that lip. Came over here on this side. Same deal. Then I flicked it a bunch. Then I took a Q-tip with some alcohol on it, and I jammed the Q-tip in there, and I actually got a lot of debris and stuff. I think it might have been dust, some kind of dust from the when they sanded or chamfered the edges of these carbon scales. It looked like it was like some dust from the carbon fiber, so that stuff was all in there. Got all that out, any of the excess oil, and I was sure to get all the excess oil off of the back of the blade right here. And that is what comes in contact with the able lock. This surface rolls against it, so you can oil this surface, but you want to do it very, very lightly, because oil can also make your lock stick worse. So the reason that I use the Gunny Glide is because it has the graphene in it, and that fills in any imperfections in the surface, and essentially makes the surface 100% smooth, which reduces the friction and will really smooth things out. And I wanted that to, you know, work its way and smooth out everything as much as possible. Then I went behind it after flicking it and unlocking it a bunch of times with the 91% alcohol and the Q-tips, and cleaned out any debris, any junk, any excess oil that was in there, and then proceeded to flick it some more. And by that point, it's been pretty much gone ever since, and it's a lot smoother. The first flick out of the box was not bad with this, but as you can see, very smooth. See if I can do it. Just my thumb. See, lock stick is gone, so that's good. Overall, I'm happy with it. If I was not a good sharpener, I would probably not be so happy with it, but the fact that I can sharpen it, was able to get rid of the lock stick, completely smooth out the action without any disassembly. No need for, you know, touching the screws, period. I'm pretty satisfied. So now moving on, now that we've got done one of the 4 knives, move on to this guy. This is the small Honeybadger. All the same features as the large one, except this is going to be more of a 3-finger knife, or if you use the front finger choil, you can get the full grip. Now the front choil on this one is a full front choil. You see the jimping in there? So that is meant for your full finger to be able to comfortably get in there, which it does. So I mean, it's cutting it close, but as you can see, still some room to spare without getting cut. Now this one does not have the thumb ramp that comes up back here like this does, but it does have the jimping on the polymer and the back of the spine. Feels good in hand. Certainly doesn't feel bad. But for me, this one, the ergonomics feel much better. Someone with a smaller hand, this one might be better. I almost think this feels better as like a 3.5 finger knife than it does in the choked up position. Just for me personally, I don't know. I like the ability to choke up, but I don't like how it feels when I'm in that position. Yeah, overall, ergonomics take a hit on this for me. Let's see the flipper. Action is beautiful. Action is just as good as the large. The detent is maybe a hair lighter, but it's still very, very good. Excellent detent. You can push button this all day and the blade will fly out. Reverse flick, thumb flick. Very fidgety because you have that excellent lock bar access, and you can just let it drop down past that secondary detent because the flipper tab will hit your thumb and keep the flipper tab will hit your thumb before the blade comes down. And then you can just move your thumb out of the way and let the blade come down the rest of the way. I think fidget wise, I might like this small one a little bit better. Kind of just as a little pocket fidget knife. But let's see. No, I can't say that. Yeah, the large is definitely, it's better for me all around, which shouldn't be really a surprise because it fits my hands better. Someone with smaller hands might find the smaller one is more comfortable. You know, I've come to find, you know, like I like having some smaller knives in my collection because of the ease of carrying, especially if you're carrying multiple knives. It's a lot easier to add a small knife to your carry than to add multiples of full-size knives. So they do serve a purpose, but you know, there's a reason that my knife collection consists of mostly full-size knives. That's because that is what is comfortable for my hand size. So that's what I would suggest when you're trying to decide what size knife you want. I say size it appropriately for your hand size. My most comfortable, or the knives that I have the most comfortable grip on, or that, okay, how do I say this? The knives that have the best ergonomics for me personally are the ones where I usually have at least a ½ inch of handle to spare. I like, you know, more of a fatter, kind of rounded, very slightly rounded handle, to where I get a nice, it really fills out my hand. I get a nice secure grip, nice and locked in, no hot spots. That is my personal sweet spot. And just for a reference, I wear size large gloves, so if you have a similar hand size, you will probably love how this one feels. Let's move on to the CJRBs. Look at this bad boy. This is the Cjrb Maileah, and this was designed by Swags. It features AR RPM 9 blade steel. These are manufactured in China. We have G10 scales. The G10 feels very good. It's not overly aggressive by any means. Has nice pivot collar, or bronze pivot collar, bronze thumb stud, nice little pop of color. I like how they did that. Beautiful deep carry pocket clip. I like how they did the black hardware, black on black, and then just with the pop of bronze around the pivot collar and the thumb studs. Really nice, good clean look to it. The action on this, very snappy. You have thumb studs on both sides. Thumb flick is very easy, very good. Reverse flick, extremely easy because of the positioning. So to reverse flick, I always hold the knife by the clip with my pinky. Dig your pinky down into the clip, okay? So the knife is held in my hand between my pinky and the bottom of my palm. All right, you are going to just pinch the pivot, okay? Like that. You're going to want to leave some room for your middle finger to be able to get by your pointer finger. All right, and you want to make sure this finger is not over the blade or on the blade. So you can let this finger just float free, or you can also dig that down into the clip. And then you get your nail right under there. You have nice large amount of space to get your fingernail under there, okay? And you're just gonna push your middle finger up, just like you're gonna flip someone off. Boom. It's literally that easy. Now, for me, since I'm used to really just gripping it like this with my pinky, sometimes with these two fingers, but mostly my pinky. And then I'll rest my thumb there, and this finger will kind of stay out so that the middle finger can come, out past it without hitting, and that makes it very easy for me. You have a nice strong detent on this, which gives it a nice snappy action. You also have a front flipper. Works very good, very easy to use. It's designed and placed great. The way they brought the spine of the blade out to here past the pivot is essential. The fact that they relieved the scale away right here, cut out this corner to allow your thumb to slide down, right behind that pivot point, gives you amazing leverage to where even with the strong detent, it is completely effortless. You literally just bring your thumb that way. It couldn't be more easy. I'm just bringing my thumb this way on the meat of my thumb, okay? And it's not uncomfortable, not painful in any way because of the placement and the leverage that you get right there. So very fidgety, very good action, really good lock bar access. As you can see, they give you this little relief cut right here, so the lock bar is raised up a little bit. It is a liner lock. Now it does have a larger it has a deeper engagement than most locks. It's past 50%, or no, it's not, I lied. It's an illusion, but yeah, it's plenty easy for me to get in there with my fat thumb. Acoustics are pretty good. I like the closing sound, opening sound. and the opening sound is different between the thumb flick, the reverse flick, and the front flipper. Alright, I'm not going to try to do any tricks. So, let's talk about the handle. It is a very comfortable 3-finger grip. Alright, it feels perfect like this because this is the grip it was designed for. It was designed to be a 3-finger knife. Alright, so if that's fine with you, then hey, go for it. I'm going to be linking these knives down in the description. I do actually like these a good bit. Okay. See how distracted I get? I said I was going to move that stuff out of the way and I never did. Alright. Last but not least, we have the smaller version, which I really like this for some reason. And I'm not a small knife guy. Same deal with this one. You have Swags right here with the heart. That's her signature. For those of you who do not know who Swags is, she was did the videos for I believe she was on Blade HQ, and I believe she also did videos with, I know she did them with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Not sure if she did Blade HQ, but yeah, she did a lot of the promotional videos and stuff, and that's how she got or how a lot of knife people came to know of her. So that's how a lot of knife people came to know of her. Obviously she's a knife enthusiast, and as you know, a lot of us knife enthusiasts, once we get to that certain point, we start having that thought and desire, you know, oh man, it would be really awesome if I could design my own knife one day. So thankfully for her, that was able to be a reality, and the Maileah was born. Not sure the significance of that name to her. Maybe it's like her daughter or something. I don't know if she has a kid. Maybe it's the name of her dog, her mother. I don't know. But obviously something means something to her. Same deal with this one. You can also get, I can also get 3 fingers on this one, but this one there's it's 100% only those 3 fingers. I believe this one is like a 2, let's see. Or no, you have like a 1.9 inch blade on this bad boy. Same deal. Lock bar access is good. This one has better acoustics. I really like thumb flicking this one. Just with that, how small the blade is. The blade just freaking rockets out, man. This one is difficult to reverse flick, but it can be done. It's not very easy, not, you know, very satisfying. You're probably not going to be enjoying middle finger flicking this one. I mean, it would be very easy to fling it out of your hand that way, so I don't suggest it. The front flipper also works excellent on this one. Very easy. Amazing detent. They did the detents perfect on these, I must say. Action's great, really flies out. They are shake shut. They are not fall shut or drop shut, but they do close with just a little encouragement, and the blade does not easily pop back up out of place, which is very annoying to me. I hate when I go to close a knife like that and the blade pops back out. So that's another benefit of having a nice strong detent. But the amazing thing is, with the design of this, the leverage that you have due to the design, that strong detent does not make it uncomfortable or difficult to use. It's just as easy to use as any any front flipper with a lighter detent, if not easier, because they put everything in the right locations where you have the leverage you need. And yeah, I mean, they look good. It's a nice looking blade grind. These have all been stropped by me on basswood with gunny juice. And yeah, the factory edges on these are pretty dang good. Pretty impressive. Nice and even. See that, guys? So if budget knife companies can do it, that's why it breaks my heart to see American companies, American-made knives that we're paying, 4 times, 10 times, 20 times more money for, and ending up constantly having issues getting asymmetrical edge put on. How can these budget knife companies in China manage to do it well 99.99999% of the time, yet when we're paying astronomically more money for American-made knives, we are constantly seeing blade grinds like, or not only blade grinds, that too, but our edge bevels like this. $200 knife, $30 knife, $200 knife, $30 knife, or maybe 40. But I mean, unfreaking real. I don't understand. USA. I love supporting USA companies. I just wish they would step their game up and step up their quality control. Don't just let anything slide and make it to the dealers. And people in this community talk. There's a lot of camaraderie and a lot of communication in the different knife groups and knife forums, and even YouTube and the comment sections and stuff. Anytime there's a major issue, the word is going to spread very quickly, and how the company reacts and addresses it can either make or break them. It can either help them, really give them a good image, increase their business, or it can really hurt their image. And that's completely up to the owner of the company, whether they want to acknowledge, yes, there is an issue, and then apologize, we're sorry, whether they give a reason or an excuse for what happened or not. All you have to do is, acknowledge it, apologize, and make a plan of action or a call to action or whatever to address the issue. So if you're constantly having, I don't know if this is a constant issue with Hogue or not. So just to be clear, I'm not picking on Hogue or pointing out Hogue. This is in general. Anything that is a common issue that keeps on happening, you know, one, if you don't acknowledge it or don't apologize for it, that looks really bad on you. And then if you attack the people who point it out, that looks even worse on you. And then if you don't, plan to address it and fix the issue, then that's an even larger problem. You know, these guys should want to give us the best quality possible. And you know, I'm not by any means a snob, and I don't expect perfection. Like this had the void right there, has an uneven edge. This was sent with a return slip. I could easily return this, but I'm not going to, because I don't need perfection. But what I do expect and need when I'm paying USA prices for knives is that the owners are, treat their customers well and show accountability. Hogue is excellent. Okay, so this is not on Hogue. One of the companies that really broke my heart, because I'm a huge fan of their knives, absolutely love their knives, is this guy. So absolutely love these knives, but the way that Rick handles issues is very, very it's just sad, because it goes against all my morals and beliefs, and really causes me to lose a huge amount of respect for him. I can't say zero respect, because he has made an amazing company. He has designed some of my all-time favorite knives. I mean, the guy is very talented, very talented, very knowledgeable, very driven. He's done a lot of great things when it comes to the knife industry. But him as a person on a I don't know. I never met the guy face to face, so it's hard to judge. And I'm getting off on another tangent, but I just, the reason I got on this tangent is I find it really amusing and amazing that these Chinese budget knives managed to get the detents tuned perfectly. Their detents done right, lock bar access is right, action is right, they're all smooth, no lock stick, no centering issues, no issues with anything really. So it's kind of it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's bad because it forces the production of knives in order to get quality at an affordable price. It forces all the companies over to China because it's just too expensive to do here, and the companies here aren't given the quality that we want, or that they should be, with exception to a handful of companies like SPYDERCO does amazing. Hogue does really good. Obviously there was some flaws with this one, but nothing major, Nothing that I can't get sorted out. Still very happy with this one. By the way, rest in peace, Aaron Hogue. I already mentioned in a previous video about what happened to him, but yeah, Hogue Knives, they're really stepping their game up. They're doing big things, and props to them on being, you know, one of the first, if not the first, to bring Magnacut to the production knife market at a very affordable price, and offering it in a knife model that, you know, people enjoy. Like, this is a good EDC knife model. They offer it in different blade shapes, different finishes, different handles. What more can you ask for? A good heat treat? Well, hey, they're doing that good too. They claim that these are heat treated between 62 and 64, and based off of how Denise's sharpened, I would say they're 100% at least 62. I mean, that's the minimum, which 62 is great. Okay, that's very, very good. But I would not be surprised one bit if these were 63 or 64. You know, I wouldn't even bat an eye if somebody said that these tested at 64 based off of how it sharpened up. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. If you're interested in any of these, they are going to be linked in the description below with my Amazon associate links. Those links, if you purchase anything through those links, it gives me a small commission, a couple cents per dollar. I don't know the exact breakdown, but actually I got an email that I was eligible for a special, it's like an increase in the percentage of my commission over this holiday season. So if I do, it will all be thanks to you guys. You know, you guys are the ones that either make this possible or don't make it possible. You know, support from you guys goes a very, very, very long way. I can't even begin to tell you how far it goes. And that might mean just, you know, letting the ads play, or using my sharpening service, or however you want to do it, sharing my videos, commenting, making sure you're subscribed. All those things make a huge difference. Even your prayers, most importantly your prayers. I am always extremely thankful for those. Any of you who actually take the time and the thought to mention me in their prayers, and, you know, my daughter, family, everything, that means more than you guys could ever know. And I truly put all my trust and faith in God, so that really means everything to me, and it carries a lot of weight, because I wouldn't be here where I'm at today without God. That is 100% fact, undeniable. But anyway, alright, I gotta get my butt to work. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Let me know your thoughts and your thoughts and questions, whatever, down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.